most people never question. If you want to increase your income, and the first solution that comes to your mind is a new job, a promotion, or switching companies, you are already solving the wrong problem. Because income is not controlled by employment. Income is controlled by value. And until your value changes, your income will not change, no matter where you work. Most people were taught a very simple formula. Go to school, get educated, get a job, work hard, wait. But that formula was designed for stability, not for income growth. If hard work alone increased income, the hardest workers in the world would be the richest people alive. But they're not. The marketplace does not reward effort, it rewards usefulness. Before we go any further, if you want to understand money, income, and success the way high-level thinkers do, subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't talk about motivation only, we talk about how income actually works. Now listen carefully. Your job pays you for a role. The marketplace pays you for results. That's why two people can work the same hours in the same organization and earn very different incomes. One is being paid for time, the other is being paid for impact. If you want to increase your income without a new job, the first shift must happen in your thinking. Stop asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I become more valuable? Value is the real currency. Right now, your income is a reflection of the problems you can solve. Small problems create small income. Bigger problems create bigger income. You don't need permission to increase value. You don't need a title. You don't need approval. You can increase value quietly before it ever shows up in your bank account. In the next part, we'll talk about why working harder at the same work rarely increases income and what actually does. Most people believe income is directly connected to time. They believe if they work longer hours, their income will eventually increase. This belief sounds logical, but it is one of the biggest income limitations a person can accept. Time is finite, value is not. No matter how disciplined you are, you only get 24 hours in a day. That means income tied strictly to time will always have a ceiling. This is why many hard-working people feel stuck. They're busy every day, but their income barely changes. Not because they lack effort, but because effort without leverage does not scale. High-income individuals understand something very different. They don't focus on how much work they do. They focus on what kind of work they do. There's a big difference between execution and impact. Execution means following instructions. Impact means improving outcomes. Execution keeps things running. Impact makes things better. And the marketplace always pays more for improvement than for repetition. If you want to increase your income without changing jobs, you must shift from asking, "What else can I do?" to asking, "What can I improve?" People who improve systems become valuable. People who fix recurring problems become essential. That is how income grows quietly before it grows visibly. Leverage is the key here. Leverage means one action creates multiple results. Learning a skill is leverage. Optimizing a process is leverage. Solving a problem that affects many people is leverage. Busy people focus on tasks. Valuable people focus on outcomes. When your contribution changes from physical effort to mental value, your income potential expands. This is why thinking is more expensive than labor. A person who understands how something works will always earn more than a person who only knows how to do it. That doesn't mean execution is unimportant. Execution builds credibility. But income growth happens when you move beyond execution. Most people are paid to maintain. High-income individuals are paid to improve. If you become the person who understands why things work, not just how they work, you become harder to replace. And replacement cost is a major factor in income growth. When replacing you becomes expensive, keeping you becomes valuable.
This doesn't require quitting your job. It requires upgrading your contribution. The workplace is full of problems. Most people complain about them. Few people take ownership of them. Those who take ownership increase income faster than those who wait for instructions. Income grows when responsibility grows, but responsibility must be supported by skill. That's why personal development is not optional for income growth. It is not about motivation, it is about capacity. As your capacity increases, your income potential increases automatically. In the next part, we'll look at the internal barrier that stops most people from stepping into higher responsibility even when opportunity exists.
The biggest enemy of income growth is not lack of opportunity, it is fear. Fear does not always appear loudly. Most of the time, it shows up quietly. Fear of being judged, fear of making mistakes, fear of being seen, fear of asking for more responsibility. This fear keeps people operating far below their potential. Most people do not lack ability, they lack confidence in their value. They underestimate themselves because they focus on effort instead of results. But income does not respond to effort. Income responds to outcomes. People pay for results. The more responsibility you can carry, the more income you can earn. This is why leadership roles always pay more than execution roles. Not because leaders work harder, but because they carry more weight. Responsibility is expensive. Most people avoid responsibility because responsibility exposes weakness. But weakness is not something to avoid. Weakness is something to develop through. Fear keeps people small. Action expands capacity. The moment you take responsibility, you begin to grow. Growth reduces fear. Skill reduces fear. Competence reduces fear. Experience reduces fear. This is why income growth is closely tied to skill development. People who increase income do not wait until they feel confident. They build confidence through preparation. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a byproduct of competence. Most people wait for confidence before they act. High-income individuals act first and let confidence catch up. This is why fear delays income growth. Fear convinces people to stay safe. Safe feels comfortable, but comfort is expensive. Growth kills income. Income creates income. Most people are not underpaid, they are underpositioned. They have the skill, but they avoid visibility. They have the ability, but they avoid responsibility. Income increases when you are willing to be seen, measured, and evaluated. Results require exposure, and exposure is uncomfortable. But discomfort is the price of growth. People who grow income are willing to feel uncomfortable temporarily to avoid being stuck permanently. Fear disappears when clarity increases. Clarity comes from action. Waiting does not create clarity. Action does. In the final part, we will connect everything together and show how to move from survival income to scalable income without changing your job. Most people live in survival mode. They think about bills. They think about expenses. They think about security. Survival thinking keeps you alive. It does not make you wealthy. Income growth requires a shift from survival thinking to ownership thinking. Ownership thinking is not limited to business. It is a mindset. It means taking responsibility for outcomes, not just tasks. Wealthy individuals think long-term. They do not optimize for comfort. They optimize for growth. They don't ask, how do I earn more this month? They ask, how do I design income that grows over time? Design is intentional. Income does not grow accidentally. It grows strategically. Ownership thinking focuses on leverage. Leverage creates scalability. Scalability means income can grow without a proportional increase in effort. This is the difference between survival income and scalable income. Survival income depends on presence. Scalable income depends on systems, skills, and thinking. Wealthy individuals invest in assets. Assets are things that produce value repeatedly. Skills are assets. Knowledge is an asset. Systems are assets. Poor thinking focuses on spending. Wealthy thinking focuses on building. Building takes time, but once built, it multiplies. This is why patience is a wealth skill. Most people quit too early because results are not immediate. But income growth follows a pattern. First comes learning, then comes application, then comes leverage, then comes income expansion. People only see the final stage and assume it happened overnight, but overnight success is usually years in preparation. Ownership thinking requires standards. When your standards rise, your actions rise. When your actions rise, your results rise. When your results rise, your income follows. You do not need a new job to increase your income. You need a new standard, a higher standard for learning, a higher standard for responsibility, a higher standard for thinking. When your standard changes, everything else adjusts automatically. Income is not a mystery, it is a reflection. Change the reflection by changing the source.